A man, covering his face, rushed out of the bathroom crying. He accused his grandmother of meddling with the shelves, disrupting the magic, which caused his hair color to turn strange. Unsatisfied with the color of his hair, the man collapsed in despair on a chair. Slowly, the color of his hair began to return to its original black, a magical process that stunned Sophie. Still, she continued to comfort him. However, the beautiful Hal, feeling that life had no meaning if he wasn't attractive, felt utterly dejected. Suddenly, the castle shook, and the darkness within Hal's heart surged, overtaking him. The entire room was soon engulfed in blackness. He was calling upon the dark elves. Sophie gently approached, trying to calm him down. Hal's body was covered in greenish slime, and while Sophie was shocked, she felt an overwhelming sense of guilt and self-doubt. She turned and rushed out the door, ignoring the heavy rain outside.
Fine, so you think you've got it bad? I've never once been beautiful in my entire life. I've had enough of this place.
Hal's words, "What's the point if I'm not beautiful anymore?" struck Sophie deeply. She had always struggled with her own sense of worth, having never known her father and with her mother remarrying and leaving home. Sophie had always pretended to be strong and uncaring, but at that moment her defenses broke down, and she started to cry. As she wept alone, the Scarecrow's appearance offered her some comfort.
Thank you, Turniphead. How did you get to be so kind?
At that moment, George rushed out and asked Sophie to come back to the house because Hal's condition had worsened. Meanwhile, inside the house, Alpha was terrified. The slime on Hal's body was continuing to spill out, threatening to extinguish him. This time, Sophie didn't get angry. She even made a lighthearted comment about Hal's state before she and George worked together to push Hal, still in the chair, back toward the bathroom. Sophie instructed George to run some hot water while she dragged Hal upstairs by herself. As they were moving, Hal's towel fell, and Sophie immediately looked up at the ceiling, embarrassed. Once she got Hal into the bathroom, she entrusted George with the task of cleaning him up. A few hours later, Hal was cleaned up and lying in bed, recovering. Sophie entered the room, holding a cup of hot tea. As she turned to leave, Hal called her name.
Sophie, wait.
Sophie walked over and sat by his side, keeping him company. Even though Hal remained silent, Sophie stayed with him quietly. Eventually, Hal opened up, confessing that the Wild Witch had been continuously searching for his home. He admitted to Sophie that he was a coward. Everything he had done was merely a way to avoid the Wild Witch's magic. He was afraid to respond to the Emperor's calls for war. Sophie, in her innocent way, encouraged Hal to meet the king and stop the meaningless war.
You obviously don't know what these people are like.
Then, Hal suddenly had an idea. He wanted Sophie to pretend to be his mother and go meet the king to discourage Lady Shalaiman from pursuing her ambitions. Sophie, feeling a bit angry, put on her old clothes, ignoring the magical beautiful clothes that Hal had created for her.
This charm will guarantee your safe return. Don't worry, I'll follow behind you in disguise. Now, off you go.